Good morning, students. Welcome back to online teaching. Today I am going to start with the 8th chapter, that is, first chapter of second term, Civil Disobedience Movement. Earlier in the first term, we studied about non cooperation and Satyagraha and Gandhiji's role in freedom struggle. Now, this chapter gives a detailed description about first and second phase of civil disobedience movement. In the first phase, there were many satyagrahas at various places such as Dandi Satyagraha, Peshawar Satyagraha, Sholapur Satyagraha and Darsana Satyagraha. The chapter includes the names of various leaders who took the initiative to be a part of civil disobedience movement at various parts of India. It also includes the story of Babu Genu, who sacrificed his life during civil disobedience movement. This chapter describes the various roundtable conferences that were held for discussing the constitutional issues of India. It also includes the reasons of failure of roundtable conference. It also focuses on the second phase of civil disobedience movement, which became the last phase due to several reasons. Now, civil disobedience is the active professed refusal of a citizen to obey with certain laws, demands, orders or commands of a government. By some definitions, civil disobedience has to be non-violent to be called civil. Hence, civil disobedience is sometimes equated with peaceful protests or non-violent resistance. Henry David Thoreau popularized the term in the US with his essay Civil Disobedience, although the concept itself has been practiced longer before it has inspired leaders such as Susan B. Anthony of US women's suffrage movement in late 1800, Saad Zaghloul in the 1910, culminating in Egyptian revolution of 1919 against British occupation, and Mahatma Gandhi in 1920s. Later on, Martin Luther King Jr.'s peaceful protest during civil rights movement in 1960s in United States also gained importance during this movement, that is civil disobedience movements. An early depiction of civil disobedience is in Sophocles' play Antigone, in which Antigone, one of the daughters of former king of Thebes, Oedipus, defies Creon, the current king of Thebes, who is trying to stop her from giving her brother Polynices a proper burial. These are, some early, civil disobedience movement. That is peaceful protest against policies of rulers or government. I don't want to go into detail because we have to just simply go about understanding this civil disobedience movement in Indian historical context. Now let us go to the chapter Civil Disobedience Movement. After the resolution of complete independence was passed in Lahore session, Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch the civil disobedience movement. Before beginning this movement, Gandhiji put up various demands in front of British government. Now last chapter, non-cooperation movement, certain demands were put up by Gandhiji. And when he started his non-cooperation movement, his satyagraha, that is Champaran Satyagraha, Kheta Satyagraha, workers' movement in Ahmedabad, all this became successful. And as a result, Gandhi's status as a politician, as a mass leader, had gone to a different level. And this civil disobedience movement is, ample proof. One of the important demand was to cancel the salt tax and monopoly of British government for manufacture of salt. Now we know salt is even now a very cheap commodity, very cheap commodity. But British government, they wanted to exploit India from all sides. What they did was, they carried goods from India early on, but later on, they started getting finished products from England. And while doing so, sometimes it happened so that their ships used to come empty. And as a result, what they did was, they started bringing, salt from England to be sold in India. Because their main motive was, to earn profit for their country. And all this led to, destroying of local industries, especially salt industries in India. And salt being one of those things which gives taste to food, how well the food is cooked. But until salt is not mixed, the taste doesn't come. One aspect. Second aspect, is, salt is one commodity which is used by all, whether a rich person, a poor person, or a lame person, or a high class or a low class. So by starting salt satyagraha, Gandhiji wanted to make this movement a mass movement, so that his message of freedom struggle goes to every nook and corner of India. That is why he took salt as a commodity to start civil disobedient movement, so that masses can be involved in this freedom struggle. Demand was to cancel the salt tax and monopoly of British government for manufacture of salt. But because the demands of Gandhiji were rejected by government, he decided to launch Satyagraha all over India by breaking the Salt Act. Salt, as I told you, salt is an important ingredient in the food of common people. Hence, it was unjust to impose tax on an essential commodity like salt. Therefore, Gandhiji started the Salt Satyagraha. Salt Satyagraha was symbolic. The extensive objective behind it was to break the oppressive and unjust laws of the British government through peace and satyagraha, to garner involvement of masses. That was also one of the motives of this salt satyagraha. Gandhiji chose Dandi, a seashore in Gujarat, to begin the salt satyagraha. On 12th March 1930, Gandhiji set out from Sabarmati ashram with 78 followers for launching the salt satyagraha. A distance of approximately 385 km was covered on foot, and Gandhiji delivered speeches in villages on the way. This entire stretch of 385 kilometers, he kept on meeting people, he kept on giving speeches, and on the way large number of people followed Gandhiji in this satyagraha. Through the speeches Gandhiji appealed to the people to be fearless and joined the civil disobedience movement. Due to Gandhiji's speeches, message of civil disobedience movement spread everywhere and a favorable atmosphere was created. As I told you, large number of people joined Gandhiji on the way. And this civil disobedience movement itself became a mass movement. On 5th April 1930, Gandhiji reached Dandi. On 6th April, Gandhiji broke the Salt Act by picking up the salt lying on the sea shore of Dandi, and the civil disobedience movement started all over the country. This is how Gandhiji started the salt satyagraha. The Peshawar satyagraha. Now Peshawar is in present day Pakistan, which was part of India before partition or before at the point of independence. In the northwest frontier, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was the most loyal follower of Mahatma Gandhi. He is also referred as Frontier Gandhi, Northwest Frontier. That is, present day Sindh province, which was earlier part of India, now it is in Pakistan. Now, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was a strong believer of Gandhian philosophy, satyagraha and non-violent measures. And he was the one who led this movement in Peshawar. He was known as Frontier Gandhi. He had founded the organization called Khudai Khidmatgar. On 23rd April 1930, he started Satyagraha at Peshawar. The town was in the hands of Satyagrahis nearly for a week. The British government gave orders to Garhwal Regiment to carry out open firing on Satyagrahis, but Chandra Singh Thakur, an officer of Garhwal Regiment, refused to open fire. Now see, if you correlate 1857 revolt, Mangal Pandey opposed the Britishers and fired at British officers. Now here Chandra Singh Thakur, did not fire on the Satyagrahis when order was given by the Britishers. And because of that, he was court-martialed and was given a severe punishment. Court-martial means not taking the order of the seniors. The British government found itself in a difficult situation due to Satyagraha launched by Mahatma Gandhi. On 4th May 1930, Gandhiji was arrested. Suppressive measures were undertaken all over the country. There was protest all over the country due to the arrest of Mahatma Gandhi. Now see, everywhere, people protested because of Gandhiji's arrest. Now, this gives us an idea that now Gandhiji was a mass leader. He was leading the freedom movement from front. His status has grown up as a political leader of India. Now, this Satyagraha started in other part of country. Sholapur Satyagraha. The mill workers were on the forefront in Sholapur Satyagraha. On 6 May 1930, Hartal was observed in Sholapur. A huge procession was organized in Sholapur. The district collector gave orders of firing on procession. See, everywhere these protesters were peaceful, but the British government was hell-bent to suppress this Satyagraha, civil disobedience movement. And as a result, harsher measures were taken where, orders were given to fire at peaceful protesters. Everywhere, firing orders were given. Many volunteers along with Shankar Shivdare died in the firing. As a result, people started attacking police stations, railway stations, courts, municipal buildings, etc. Now, common people also became violent. The government declared martial law. That means, military. The town of Sholapur was now under control of military. No civilian police, but military was in charge of the town, and the agitation was suppressed. Those who took lead in this movement, such as Malappa Dhanashetty, Shri Krishna Sarda, Kurban Hussain, and Jagannath Shinde, were hanged to death. That means frontline leaders were hanged to death. Now, these are the extreme measures which were taken by the British government. Now we can see the photographs of these freedom fighters. These were the people, those who actually were forefront leaders in Sholapur, and all of them were hanged to death. Darshana Satyagraha. The Satyagraha at Darshana in Gujarat was led by Sarojini Naidu. The police lathi charged on the Satyagrahis who came forward to break the SALT Act. The Satyagrahis silently tolerated the blows of lathi. When they were taken away for medical aid, another batch of Satyagrahis came forward to replace them. See how this movement was carried forward. Satyagrahis were badly hit by police lathi, a wooden stick, and when they were taken for medical treatment, another batch of Satyagrahis took over their place. This shows that how united these Satyagrahis were, how much they supported Gandhiji. This continued endlessly in Maharashtra. Salt Satyagraha took place at Wadala, Malwan, and Shiroda, where there were no salt pans, fields, salt fields. See, if you travel towards Palghar side, you will see that piles of salts are kept on the roadside, white substance. These are salt pans, salt fields. So wherever there were no salt pans, the forest laws were broken. There were jungle satyagrahas at Belashi, Sangamner, Kalwan, Chirner, and Pusad in Maharashtra. The tribal people also took part in satyagraha in large numbers. Now see, Britishers had monopoly on forest product, and during that time people depended on timber for cooking. It's not like modern time where you have got all this gas chulha and induction cooker, electricity, microwave oven. All these things were not there. It was just simply timber, coal, and majority of the people depended on timber, forest timber, for cooking. And on that also Britishers had monopoly. Without their permission, forest products cannot be used by tribal people. So in these places where there were no salt pans, all these forest dwellers, they broke forest laws by cutting timber without taking permission from the Britishers. This way they protested against the Britishers, against the British government. Now here I want to bring it to your notice that the status of Gandhiji was growing up. Now he was a mass leader where people blindly supported, even tribal people, forest dwellers, people from lowest strata of society. They came up front and supported Gandhiji during this movement. It also gives an idea that how suppressive the British government was, and people were sick and tired of their rule. And all this led to where people from every section of society came forward and they fought against the Britishers. They supported Gandhiji and the local leaders, and that is how civil disobedience movement was success. Sacrifice of Babu Genu in Mumbai. There was agitation against foreign goods. The vehicles transporting foreign goods were obstructed. Babu Genu said a mill worker from Mumbai was in forefront in this movement. A truck carrying foreign goods safeguarded by police came in front of Babu Genu. To stop the truck, he lied down on the road. Police threatened him, but he did not move from his place. Finally, he was crushed under the truck. Babu Genu gained martyrdom. You can see the picture of Babu Genu. You can see how young Babu Genu was when he sacrificed himself. Features of civil disobedience movement. All the movements till now were limited only to urban areas, but this movement became a nationwide movement. People from rural areas registered their participation. Women also took part in large number. Kasturba Gandhi, Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay, Avantika Bai Gokhale, Leelavati Munshi, Hansaben Mehta led the Satyagraha. This movement was based on complete non-violence. The British government was trying to greatly suppress the movement, but the people protested unarmed. Due to this, the Indian people became fearless. Now, see, this is where this movement was successful, and Gandhian philosophy became a hit. Fighting British government without arms. Now, this sacrifice of Babu Genu gave inspiration to national movement. Round Table Conference. In the opinion of British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald, while the civil disobedience movement was going on, the constitutional issues regarding India should be thought over. For this purpose, he organized a conference in London. This conference is known as Round Table Conference. In the period between 1930 to 1932, 3 round table conferences were organized. Now this round table conference, this topic, I will take up in next period. Please go through the chapter. Any doubt, please do ask. Take your studies seriously. As we have seen, schools were supposed to open, but due to increase in cases, again we have gone to this mode of online teaching. Stay home, be safe, don't venture out of your houses, use mask. Take care. Thank you.